Of YouTube Archie here, and I'm at my first point of interest of the King Philip War. And as you can see, I am in Ayer, Massachusetts. This is the opening main gate to Fort Devens. And before this was Fort Devens, which was built 1938, and I think it was finished being built in 1938. This was just your average land of trees and meadow and field. Now, during the King Philip War, it is hard to tell if this road existed due to being back in 1675. But this is one of the main points of interest in the story of the Great Powwow, which this, as you can see right here, was farmland to, I believe it was the Willard Farm, which he owned two houses, which one was in Lancaster, and this one being in Ayer. But back in the King Philip War, this was actually Groton, Mass. Ayer did not even exist. But what it was said in the story, that this was all farmland, and of course all the flat land, I would say, not the hills, was all, of course, the farmers, Mr. Willard's, crops. Now, instead of you seeing in the movies or reading up in history about farmers using animals for their crops, they would use Indians, which to me is kind of disgraceful. And that is one of the main reasons of why this war began, is because Indians started to wake up, realizing that they were becoming slaves, being sold as slaves, like I said in previous videos, which is degrading and disgraceful to the Indian nation, of course, due to the fact that they stepped foot and was in this land before the Englishmen, and why they would treat them like crap is beyond me, because Indians, if it wasn't for Indians, they wouldn't have never survived their first winter here in New England. Now, it's hard to say where the house stood. That they said in a book that you could still see the cellar, which door might have been that led to the basement. But where that is now is beyond me. But over here, due to the fact that my father looked up history also when he was in his young age, this is where the barn and another building set. And in that house and in this barn, there was a fight with the Indians. And of course, Indians died throughout this. It is now, of course, you can see power lines. And the reason why this guy came to this place, not only for the field over there across the way, but due to the fact that the river, which I'm going to see how far I'm going to go down before I get to it. I might not be able to make it to it because of the fact that it's too far. Actually, there's a street over there, as you can see, which, if any local people want to come driving down it, there's a wildlife sanctuary down there on that road over there. This one, I don't know. This one has been cleared out for reasons I don't know, but I'm just going to swing behind the fence and the power line to give you a view. And I'm sure they stored a lot of animals throughout the barns and everything over here. I don't know what they're doing over here. This has never been cleared out. This has been recently, in the past couple of years, I believe, been cleared out. Surveyed. But along out back here is the Nashua River. And yeah, I'm sure the barn didn't come this far back, but all this land right in here, like I said, stood a barn and another building. The house, I don't know where. I want to say it was over here maybe, but maybe not. It probably was more into the field I showed you over there, Fort Devens. Like I said, I don't know if that road even existed back then. I'd have to look into it, maybe through the air historian place. Like I said, along down the road there, if you go down the Sanctuary Road, Wildlife Sanctuary Road, which cuts over anyways, you can use the road, but I think in the winter they close it down due to the fact that it's just a wildlife road. I mean, they let people pass through the summer, maybe to check it out. But the river, Nashua River, runs along the banks in the back over here. And that is pretty much how the Indians lived. And they taught the Englishmen how to live by the rivers. Of course, the rivers back then weren't polluted. And that's how they got around in their canoes. Lived very close by them rivers to, of course, survive, drink water, whatever they needed to do. But, of course, one night I'm going to have to get out here and see if there's any spirits of the dead of Indians. Like I said, not only am I doing history, I'm doing ghost hunts on this, too. And I want to look for the goddamn Indians, is right. If anything, them are the ones that are going to come and try and contact you through the spirits, especially if you're calling out on them. And that's how they used to say, like I said, how they lived back in the day. They always counted on them spirits of the old warriors and chiefs to get them through life and stuff. There's a Sanctuary wildlife sign. This must be all road to it too, to watch the animals or something. But like I said, this is my first destination, and I don't know, this wasn't the first half of the war. This was probably in the middle of the war when they came and attacked this place and burned it to the ground. I am doing this all backwards because I can't, of course, with time and all this bullshit that pile up on me, I can't start off where it did start, and that was in the Bridgewater Triangle. That would probably be my last destination. But I'm going backwards where it's close to home, of course. As you can see, the main gates of Fort Devens. Like I said, I believe this was finished and built in 1938, just before the World War II began. For that purpose, after World War I, they needed a bigger base or something. But, yep. Before this was all Fort Devens, this was a farm right here. And all over there, like I said, in that field was farmlands where the Indians used to do their own surveying and cropping because they were made to do it. It's just a disgrace to me. Of course, slavery back then wasn't just for the colored people, it was for Indians too. And it was inhumane to me and disgusting and degrading. If you ask me, they had animals over here, why couldn't they use that? But I mean, that's pretty much why the King Philip War started. Indians started figuring out, after the great Metacom chief, his father passed away, that everything wasn't all peaches and cream. Of course, they didn't like how they were being treated. But of course, after that father died, that chief, everything started to go downhill. So I can just imagine what they really were doing to these Indians. There were some that were treated good, as long as they went into their religion and their beliefs. But others, couldn't deal with it. And like I say before, and I'll say it again, how would we like to be changed of our religion? We've already got rid of the Pledge of Allegiance. That's why I'm covering this war, because nothing's changed. It's all about power, money, and greed. And, being told what to do. And I think this war should be known to people, that it just don't happen to us. It happened to everybody from the dawn of fucking time, and that's sick. Anyways, like I said, my first destination, the Groton farmhouse that was burnt down by the Indians, and just wasn't right of what was going on. I would like to throw in here my new sign. I get to use this for me. Yeehaw! But other than that, YouTube Nation, till my next video, I'm gonna get out to. I gotta figure out where I'm gonna stop to. Oh, that's where I'm going. Yeah, I got a loud trucks, noise, cars passing by. Gonna try before they close down to get to Mount Wachusett. And that was the stranglehold and, main place that took of the Great War Dances. That's what they called the Great Powwow back then, of a war dance. And it all happened right on Mount Wachusett. A lot of them wars and dances for them was taking place there. I'm going to get there next. Until then, YouTube, I'll see you in the future. Out.